Hey guys, we're Ben and Christine, and today we're talking about something super important, right? Yeah, shoes, and what we do with those shoes when we're not using them.
Yes. We live right outside of Copenhagen, Denmark, in a small townhouse. We love it, however, the entryway is really small, and there's basically no space for storing shoes.
So we're going to figure out how to set up a shoe storage system that is both aesthetically pleasing and functional. Our shoe situation was bothering us, and that's usually how most of our organizational projects begin. Something is just that annoying that we have to do something about it, and we decide now's the time.
Yes. So the problem was the shoes were everywhere. The ones we were using on a regular basis were unorganized on the floor in front of the front door. We trip over them. There'll be all these problems with that. The rest of them were upstairs in bedrollers out of the way.
Yeah, so we decided, okay, let's analyze the situation. And that doesn't sound fun, but it is.
Analyzing basically means that we think about the problem a little bit so that we don't rush out and buy a wardrobe that doesn't fit into our hallway or a shoe storage piece of furniture that looks horrible and we're going to hate every time we walk past it.
Exactly. So just giving it a little bit of thought before we rush in and try to solve it.
We asked ourselves some key questions. The first one being, what is the problem and why is it a problem?
Yeah, so in our case, we had shoes all over the house, and the shoes that we're using on a regular basis were strewn like a minefield across the hallway downstairs. So we'd have to tiptoe and make sure we don't trip over those shoes whenever we left the house or came back home. The kids also had a hard time finding the shoes that they were looking for, so that created a bit of a self-reliance issue, and altogether it was just really annoying.
Yeah. The answers to these questions help us realize what emotional and physical issues that our ideal solution had to address.
The next question we asked ourselves was, when does the problem materialize?
We realized that it was in the afternoon when we came home from work or school and people just left their shoes wherever. It was in the mornings when we had to leave the house in a rush usually and no one could find their shoes. And it was on the weekends when people were too lazy to go up the stairs and put away their shoes.
Yeah. So the answers to these questions helped us realize what routines our new solution had to have in place to work for us. Next, we asked ourselves who contributed to the problem.
And this was easy. It was the kids. It was mainly the kids.
It was us a little bit,
but mainly the kids.
but mostly the kids.
Yeah. Thinking in these terms made it so that we knew who we had to talk to about the new systems and who they had to work for.
The kids.
And the last question we asked ourselves was, what could an ideal solution look like? And this is where we take all our newfound knowledge and really put it into play.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that we only had one pair of shoes per person on the floor at any given time. The rest of the shoes had to be in a single location and one that was easily accessible. And then the whole system had to be such that it was low maintenance so that we could actually be bothered to keep it in place.
Yeah, it also had to have an easy overview so that both we and the kids understood the system and could keep it up.
When the time came to implement our solution, we got a plastic shoe mat that we put in the hallway by the entrance. That was to designate an area for the shoes that we're using on a daily basis, and it's also nice in the wintertime to prevent water from getting onto the wooden floor.
Yeah, the rest of the shoes couldn't fit anywhere in the entryway, so we had to put those in the basement. There we bought a shoe cupboard that fit most of the shoes we wore regularly. The rest of our shoes, the seasonal ones like flip-flops and hiking boots, we put those in a separate container underneath the stairs, but also in the basement.
And that worked for a little bit, but the problem kind of came back with spring and summer. So when it was time to bring out those running shoes and flip-flops, we'd go pick them up from the basement, and once we'd finished using them, we wouldn't really put them back.
No, and then the floor in the hallway started filling up again, and we had the same problem as earlier. However, now we knew what the problem was, and we had a good idea what the solution should look like. So it was time to tweak the solution. We do actually have a tiny cupboard by the front door. We use that for hats and gloves and scarves in the wintertime. But since it's summer, we could put those in the basement, and it freed up a little bit of space. However, the problem is that the cupboard is really awkwardly shaped. So it's not really optimal for shoe storage.
No. So we put a few shoes in there, but in order to make them fit, you'd have to really take the time to arrange them properly. And if you didn't do that, the cupboard would be really difficult to close. So either we had that problem, or we wouldn't put the shoes in the cupboard and then they'd end up on the floor. So it felt like we were getting a little bit closer, but it was still time to tweak again.
We knew we needed more storage capacity, and we knew we needed to be more easily accessible. And then it hit us. We could use the back of our basement door. We got one of those hanging units that we could put our shoes in and then close the door and it'd be completely out of the way.
Yeah, and it's perfect because it's on the same floor as our entrance. So it makes it really easy to get the shoes that we're looking for and put them away again. And then what we did is we assigned the bottom 2 rows of that unit to the kids. So they have their fixed spots now for their pairs of shoes.
It's a system that they understand and that they can work with. And as an added bonus, we now have no shoes on the floor and it's a lot easier to clean.
Yeah, and it just looks really nice. So I think we finally nailed it.
The steps that we followed in coming up with the solution for our shoe storage problem were quite simple. It's analyze, implement, and tweak, tweak, tweak.
Exactly. Now, we put a lot of emphasis on planning before you start implementing a solution or run out the door to start buying stuff for storage. But the thing is, like, you don't always get it right the first time. And you should always anticipate that, after your first implementation, that you're going to need some time to tweak your solution to come up with a system that works, that's easy to maintain, and that looks nice.
Yeah, and we're really happy with our end solution. So it took a little time, but it works now, and it will work for a long time.
Forever. If you like this video, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below.
Also, please go to our website, realorganized.net, and sign up for free access to our video course on how to start getting organized.
See you next time.